ring. Oh, that's so annoying. Hi friends, welcome or welcome back to my channel. I'm Katerina, or Kat if you're new here, and this is my channel of everything cozy, bookish, and lifestyle related. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about the 17 books that I read from the month of September to the end of October. We have had two really great reading months with a lot of really great books that I read, and so I'm so very excited to be talking about all of them with you. But first, before we get into the books that I read in September and October, definitely go check me out on Instagram. It's where I post all of my cozy, bookish content. So to start off the reading wrap up, let's talk about the books that I read in the month of September. And the first book starting off is a very popular and a very hyped book, and one that everyone is very excited about the sequel coming out in less than a week actually. It comes out, and I think November 7th if I'm correct, and that is Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. This one actually caught me by surprise. I didn't think I was going to enjoy it as much as I actually did. It was very fast-paced. I loved the characters. I loved the world. The idea of a dragon academy and that dragons choose the strongest warriors. Now granted, I am a massive fantasy reader. I absolutely love intricate and detailed fantasy, and I'm not saying that Rebecca Yarros' Fourth Ring doesn't have some of that element. There are just instances where we could have had a little bit more world building, a little bit more magic system. For example, we never really know about the world that these characters live in. We know that there's a war going on outside the world, but we're so stuck in the academy that everything you learn is through the main character spewing facts. And this is really the only time that you get to learn about A, dragons and the different types of dragons, and B, the world that's going on around these characters. And so that was very disappointing. If you're a big romance reader and you absolutely love romance, this is definitely one that is geared towards those romantasy readers. If you're a massive fantasy reader, you love intricate and detailed fantasy, this probably won't be for you. I still recommend it, but it definitely holds back. However, I did give it a 4-star. I did enjoy it. Then we have another really surprising read for me, and another very hyped TikTok book, and that was Assistant to the Villain by Hannah Nicole Meyer. Read the synopsis and I was like, this isn't for me. Like, it's so funny. It's so ridiculous. The characters are just mind-boggling to me. There's a lot of cliche statements in here, while necessarily don't really work, just kind of lead to this ridiculousness of the story. However, the book has an entire map. You have this entire map, but yet you never go anywhere with it. You go to the village where the main character lives, and you go to the castle in the woods by the villain, and you're at her workplace. This is definitely an office romance book over a enemies to lovers fantasy romance, but it is a 4-star for me. Another surprising read for me, The Naturals by Jennifer Lynn Barnes, quoted as a Criminal Minds meets young adult, and will definitely say that it is a Criminal Minds meets young adult, and it was very addictive. Is this book a perfect thriller? Absolutely not. It is not a perfect thriller by any means. However, the kind of thriller aspect of it was really enjoyable. I really liked the dynamic of the different characters. I did give this one, I believe, a 3.75 stars, and yeah. Then I picked up volumes 1 and 2 of Kakuryo. It's a bed and breakfast for spirits, and this was very adorable. I gave both of these volumes a 3.75 stars. Kind of felt like reading a cookbook at times because the main character absolutely loves to cook, and the story itself is just very cute and wholesome. Then the next 3 books that I read were books that I don't have physical copies to because I read them from the library. The first book that I read from the library was Atomic Habits. This was one that I ended up giving a 3.75 stars. It was good in the sense of it kind of gave you a new idea of creating habits and the science behind creating habits. Did it reinvent the wheel on creating habits and breaking habits? Absolutely not. Then I read Mooncakes, and I also gave this one a 3.75 star. This was a cozy graphic novel that takes place in a fall world where a young woman is a witch, and she is trying to help her best friend from childhood escape the people that are after them. So that's all I remember from Mooncakes. And then I read This Winter by Alice Oseman. This I also gave a 3.75 stars. And this is a book that takes place in the Heartstopper universe. I believe it takes place in between volumes 3 and 4. And if you haven't read the Heartstopper series yet, I highly recommend them. They're absolutely stunning. Alright, so moving on to the books that I read in the month of October. And starting off very strong in October, I read Killer Instincts and All In by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. This is the second and third book in the Naturals series, and I, once again, was very addicted. These are very fast-paced, they have really great characters, there's very good character dynamic. It is still a YA thriller, they do have their flaws, they do focus more on tropes rather than the plot themselves, and they're very quick to go through. I definitely feel like there were times where things could have been explained a little bit more. 4 stars each. Then I read A Natural History of Dragons by Marie Brennan, and this is a memoir of Lady Trent, and I did not enjoy this. When I have to like speed read through the last 100 pages because nothing's happening and it's boring and I just don't care about the character or where it's going, that's a problem for me. I did give it a 3 stars. You get very little of where these dragons come from. You get very little of dragon history. You only get bits and pieces of it here and there, and it was boring. That's what I have to say. This book was boring. I don't DNF books very often, if ever. This is the first book that I have DNF'd in over a year, and this is The Wicked Bargain by Gabe Novoa. If I thought The Natural History of Dragons was boring, my god, this was just as boring. Then going into the spooky books that I read for the month of October, so if you haven't watched it yet, I did create a book on reading spooky books for an entire weekend, and the first one being one of my favorites of the month, and that is Slewfoot by Brahm. This was so wonderful, this was beautiful, this was horrific, this was glorious. He brought in so many things on religion and belief and struggling between your beliefs, especially when it comes to like natural things and, you know, the natural world. Highly recommend it, and I talk so much more about it in my spooky video. So definitely go check it out there. Then from there, I picked up and finished Tomi by Junji Ito. There were a lot of graphic scenes in this series, and I'm just like, man, this poor woman, Tomi. This follows Tomi, if you don't understand, just keeps getting unalived over and over for no reason except that she is insanely beautiful and men can't control themselves. So that was Tomi. I ended up giving it 4 stars. Also, I completely forgot, I ended up giving Slewfoot 4.5 stars. And then one of the stars of October that I read that I became very obsessed with, and it actually took me a few days to finish, was Dracula by Bram Stoker. I was so impressed. Like, can you see? Like, look at that. The aesthetic of it. As you can see, I had so many things to say in this book. I'm a person, when I read classics, I delve really deep in depth on themes and society and all of that, and this definitely delivered on that. There was so many pages where nothing was happening, where I'm just like, can we just get to the point now? A lot of them, it's them just sitting around being like, oh my gosh, is Dracula even real? Like, are vampires real? And a vampire could be standing right in front of them and they're like, no, vampires aren't real. It's definitely more of a 4-star read for me. Then to quickly wrap up October, I just needed some quick, simple, easy reads, and I first picked up Kakuryou Volume 3, and this was really enjoyable. I thought it was cute. However, it was just kind of all over the place, so I did give it a 3-star. It's very difficult for me to rate manga. And then I also finished Spy Family Volume 9. Easy to read, quite consumable, very funny, oh my gosh. Every single volume, I become more and more obsessed with these characters. I did give this one, I believe, a 4-star. I don't even know if I can hold all of these. And it's backwards. Oh, that's so annoying. You know what, Kat? You knew that was gonna happen. Let's try that again. So here are all of the books, if you can sort of see it, that I read in the month of September and October. Please let me know in the comments below if you have read any of these books ever, and please let me know what you've read in the months of September and October. Make sure to like this video for more videos like it, and also make sure to subscribe to my channel. I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!